What's up, YouTube? On this episode of Coddiwomple Overland, we're going to be talking with Ricky from Atlas Outdoors about this incredible trailer behind us, the Teton X.
We don't need a destination, let's go where the river's taking us.
So Ricky, we're sitting here in Oklahoma at Overland of America, and you brought this trailer to us from St. George, Utah, so we can spend next few days or actually a couple months in it. But this is not just any Teton X trailer. What makes this one special?
Well, this one is a prodigal son returns situation.
Okay.
This is actually the same trailer that you had. I guess it was your previous trips with earlier this year that you took it out on, and well, there was a bump in the road, and since then you've got a new wrap on your rig, and so we've done some work on it, and we've matched the decals now, so that you have a basically new rig, but it's the same but different, and okay. I guess we'll explain why. Yeah, so the bump in the road was actually not a bump in the road. It was a bump to the side of our truck and the trailer. We haven't said a whole lot about it. Of course, we had to get through all the insurance stuff and things like that. But what actually happened was we had, after the Brushy Mountain event that TNT Overlander put on, we took this out, went to the Georgia Adventure Trail, came back and was coming through Knoxville, going to stop at XGRID and pick up some other stuff. Almost to the entrance of XGRID, we actually got hit broadside by a Volvo vehicle. They hit us right directly in the side of the tire. It glanced off of that and hit the corner of this trailer. So it hit so hard that it sheared the receiver off at the pin. So completely broke it like glass. And then after that, of course, the car hit the trailer, and I'm going to show you through here just what kind of damage happened. The trailer took a really big hit, but I guess when we got it back to you guys, once it made its way back to St. George, you guys then had a chance to inspect it, and what'd you find? So it was a process going through the insurance, and well, it was first to see what they found, because we couldn't get a look at it until it got back to us, and they went over it, and it was difficult for them to tell by themselves, just with their own eye, what exactly it would take to repair it. And so when they went through it, they said, well, it looks like there could be this amount of damage, but we're worried that maybe the frame is bent, and that's always a concern in a collision like this. And so that was kind of what they went with. And when we got it back, we found that wasn't necessarily the case. So
typically an impact like that on the corner of a trailer is catastrophic.
Do you recall how fast you were going?
We were going probably 15 miles an hour. But they estimated that the other driver that hit us in the side was probably around 40 miles an hour when he hit us.
Wow.
He hit us hard enough that every airbag in that vehicle deployed. So wow. In order to do that, just based on my history and experience, in order to do that, you've got to be at a speed greater than 35 miles an hour. So, and it was at least that. So he hit us with a lot of force.
And for the record, everybody was okay?
Yeah, everybody was okay. We were okay. Aspen was fine. The driver of the other vehicle was fine. He had no other occupants. So yeah, we were all okay, luckily. But yeah, it was still a pretty hard impact.
Right. Yeah. And so I guess then the next thing was to assess the damage and get it fixed and get you back on the road.
Yeah, and with this trailer, the way that the frame is constructed is incredible, and actually the 2x5 box tubing is something that very few trailers of any stature is built from. Most of them are C-channel. And had this been a C-channel frame trailer, it would have crushed the whole corner in on it. But that didn't happen to this one.
Right, and that's why we kind of take pride in the build quality from the bottom all the way to the top. And so, and that is like the situations like this is what it's built for. You know, it's not necessarily built to get in crashes, but when you're out on the trails in the rough and rugged environment, it's got to be built like a tank to handle it. And so then you can kind of see that come to the light in situations like this where it takes a beating. So
yeah, I mean, absolutely. This is, I tell people a lot of times when we pull these trailers, when we pull them off-road, they're going through an earthquake for as many miles or as much time as we're off-road. You know, so I think this one passes the 8.0 earthquake test for sure. When they did assess the damage, there was a bend on the tongue beam.
right.
And then on the outer, I'll show you a picture here of the way the frame is built and constructed. But just on the outer front corner was the only bar that was actually even tweaked. The main frame, the main beam sections were not touched at all. Is that right?
That is correct, yes. The actual frame itself was actually as it was.
Perfectly square.
It was just on the tongue where the car actually hit it. It was tweaked. It was tweaked there. So they had to cut that out and replace that beam.
Okay.
And then farther back, it was hard to tell what had happened. It seemed like the wall had shifted a little bit on the driver's side as well. And when we looked into it more, it wasn't that the wall had shifted at all. It was just there was a bar that's kind of on the wing on the driver's side that had just tweaked back like 1/4 of an inch.
Yeah.
And all it had to do was just move it back up, and everything went back into place.
Yeah.
And then we're rocking and rolling.
Yeah, you put it back into place and gusset it to strengthen that corner, put it right back where it was at. And, you know, you can tell from the pictures and the video of the truck when it was sitting on the road, what had actually happened was where the propane tank is mounted. He hit that propane tank, and that's what pushed that wall back a little bit.
Right.
So that was the source of the impact. And even with that direct hit, you know, all you had to do was move it back 1/4 of an inch. That just, to me, really speaks to the quality and the structurability of this trailer. It's just unbelievable.
It's and obviously it's not me that does any of the building, but I'm proud to be a part of the production team because they really do care about all the little details that make it the quality that it is.
Yeah.
I mean, the construction is the first part, and then the work that they put into it, to like the craftsmanship that they put into it with the welding it in house and all that they do to make it as strong every single time.
Yeah.
As the next one.
Yeah.
Is
So it's a small group. Nothing really is outsourced. Everything is engineered. Everything is done there in-house. So you guys have 100% total quality control over the way this thing is built and the way it's put together.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah. So you're not getting a mass assembly line. When you order this trailer, you know that these guys have put their hands on it. They put their heart and soul into it. And you're getting the best trailer that they can possibly build for you. And, you know, we've been in multiple different trailers over the last year, and I can tell you firsthand by, you know, literally being in an impact with this thing, it is one of the best built trailers that you'll ever look at.
Mm-hmm. And there was some other damage that you see in the pictures too, as far as like the dry box. It's made out of aluminum, so it's going to crunch it. And then the wall had a crack in it. Okay. So we had to take apart the front wall, and the trim was actually basically okay, but they said it was such a job to get it apart because though it got
it's put together so well.
It's put together so well that they had to. It actually damaged the trim getting it back apart.
Gotcha.
Just because of how it's put together. It's just not meant to come apart.
Yeah.
So. But then they had to replace that wall, replace the dry box, and actually what was impressive, even the components, like you said, that it sheared the hitch off, but it was the hitch on the vehicle side. So the actual Cruisemaster hitch that we use was dinged up, but essentially
And
I mean, they towed it back to the.
It was
to the
dinged
yard.
up from hitting the ground and sliding
Exactly.
under our truck. We actually, after we moved our truck away from the trailer, we had a rollback, just raise it up, get it back up on the jack, and we hooked it to another Jeep and towed it on back to the shop. And it was perfectly straight. It didn't look like it was tweaked at all. Of course, it wasn't after you guys done the measurements. So this thing takes a hit in the side at a vehicle running 40, 45 miles an hour, whatever it was, and you put it back on a pin and drive it home. That was amazing. You know, and in addition to the quality, the way it's built structurally, this is going to last you generations and generations. You're going to pass this thing down to kids, but it's going to be passed down to kids that have been staying in it since they were kids, because you can actually sleep 5 people in this trailer.
Right.
You know, that having the ability to sleep your whole family inside this trailer, they're going to grow up in it. And then when they get to be adults and you decide to move on to something else or buy you another Teton, they've got something that they have grown up with and can carry on with them. I think that's awesome.
That's very cool. We actually have a customer that bought the trailer with that exact intention in mind. He worked closely with his son together, and they kind of chose the build that they wanted. And so now the father is out. The last time I talked to him, he was 30 days straight in the trailer, and with the intent that eventually he'll pass it off to his son. His son will use it in the interim, but then he'll pass it on to his son for him to use with his kids. So that's pretty cool that this trailer can be used like that. It's not just a couple years or 3 years and you need a new one. It's built for the long haul.
Cool. So if you're looking for a overland trailer, adventure off-road trailer that is truly off-road capable and something that's going to last generations and generations, you're not going to have to worry about walls falling apart or anything having a problem. Give Teton X, the guys at Atlas Outdoors, a look. I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Until next time, see ya.